way home or face the fire by Jah, the survival plan for all human plus beings.
Chapter 3. The Creation of Human Animals. Never underestimate Satan. If you do what you want to do, you are running in circles, doing yourself and no one else any good, being lost and confused, going nowhere, continually hurting yourself and others, suffering, and Satan will lead you astray and into the fire. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and, if you do God's will, and let Him teach you and help you, you will then be going in a straight line. You will also no longer be trying to swim against the flow and arrive home in the shortest possible time, in the least possible waste of effort. He will even supply directly the energy force for you to do what He wants you to do, to make it even easier for you, and He will cheer you on to victory. God does not want you to be here. He wants you to learn to be good and to come home as soon as possible. That is all He has always wanted of you. God is very sad because He misses you, and He wants you to come home. But He cannot let you come home until He is certain that you will be good, and not cause any more trouble, or hurt anyone. Micah 6:8. He hath showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doth the I Am Yahweh require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God? Home has many names here, like heaven, nirvana, Valhalla, Utopia, Zion, the happy hunting ground, paradise, etc. But it is not an ideological, abstract place. It is the morning star, Venus, which is a real physical planet. How can you do God's will unless you tell Him that you want to do His will, and ask Him to tell you exactly what He wants you to do, second by second? Ask Him privately, with thoughts, not words, and listen for His reply in your mind. Also ask Him to revitalize your Holy Spirit, to reinforce it. Ask Him to come inside you and give you strength to be able to do His will and overcome Satan by teaching you how to use the force. No human prophet can be with you all the time to teach you. Only God can do that, and He will, if you ask Him to. He is waiting patiently for you to ask. You are never alone. You just cannot see your guardian angels, but they can see you. They know exactly what you are doing, thinking, or saying every second of your life. Job 42:2. I know that thou can do everything, and that no thought can be withheld from thee. Among Lucifer's followers, there were many weak-willed souls who were misled by him and deceived by his lies into fighting against God. There were others who were really his friends and accomplices, who had helped him plan and organize the rebellion, and who fought eagerly with him for their own selfish reasons. Here in prison, God wanted good to overcome evil, so He used the natural supremacy of the male species and locked Satan's friends into female human animals, and the less evil souls into male human animals, so that the males, being stronger, could control the females and teach them to be less evil and selfish. 1 Corinthians 11:3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of the Christ is God. 1 Timothy 2:11-12. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. Before we go any further, and some of you wrongly decide that I must be a woman-hater, let me state the true fact. That is, I love women more than any man that has ever lived. I will explain the illogicality of your wrong assumption to you, if you make it, at the end of this chapter. So, for now, please just allow me the benefit of the doubt, accept what I say, and continue reading for your own good. A soul, the real you, has no sex. It is the body that the soul is temporarily using that has a sex. So you, the soul, are neither male nor female, nor even human. If and when a soul locked inside a female body learns to be a perfect woman in God's eyes, not yours, it has then earned promotion and the right to be locked inside a male body in its next human lifetime. See Gospel of Thomas, log 114, 20-26, In the King of Kings Bible, it is chapter 16 of the book of Thomas. Simon Peter said to them, "Let Mary go out from among us, because women are not worthy of the life." Jesus said, "See, I shall lead her so that I will make her male, and she too may become a living spirit, resembling you males. For every woman who makes herself male will enter the kingdom of heaven." Amen. Each time that a human animal body that you have been using dies, you are unlocked from it and taken into the astral plane, paradise, which is here but in another dimension that cannot be seen with human eyes, where you are asked what you have learned, and you have your now past human lifetime that you have just lived shown to you, and you are told paradise, paradise, in order to be told what you have done right and what you have done wrong. That life is then summarized, and the evil that you have learned in that lifetime is erased from your memory, along with which human you were. But the good that you have learned is retained. You are then sent back into this material plane and locked inside another body to learn some more. The kind of body and surroundings will vary, depending on whether you are to be punished and taught humility, or whether you are to be rewarded. You cannot remember what human you were previously, because that would cause you and everyone else a lot of pain. Example: if an old man dies and came back as a baby, remembering who he had been, and went to see his wife, now his widow, from his previous lifetime, it would cause her, himself, and his new parents a lot of pain that would serve no useful purpose. Another reason that you are not allowed to remember what human you were is because, being the materialistic, selfish people that you are, if you could remember who you had been, you would go and try to claim what were your possessions, wouldn't you? As the object of being here is to learn to be unselfish, good, and unmaterialistic, allowing you to remember would be counterproductive. Also, you wouldn't want to be able to remember being a murderer or a rapist or being murdered, would you? What you do remember is all the good that you have learned, all those things that you know are right and that no one in your present lifetime has taught you, you have learned in your previous lifetimes. If you lived a good life, you advance and shorten your sentence. If you live a bad life, you go backwards and are punished. If you live a half and half type of life, you stay at the same place, same spiritual level, and just get a new body to use. The trouble with staying at the same place or going backwards is that you are running out of time to earn your pardon. The higher you climb, the harder it gets, and the more chance you have of making a mess of things. And going backwards, the more you need God's help. An evil soul cannot learn everything it needs to know as a man or as a woman. It has to be a gradual progression from one to the other in order to learn and gain experience from both. After, however, many female lifetimes of going forwards if good and backwards if bad, that it takes the soul locked inside a female body to learn to be a perfect woman in God's eyes, which means a perfect lady, wife, and mother. When the human animal body that it is using dies and the soul is taken into the astral plane, it is congratulated on its achievement and then promoted and sent back into a male body. Once the soul gets a male body, it has to start all over again from the beginning, but as a man, going forwards and backwards through many male lifetimes until it learns to be a perfect man. That is, like Jesus the Nazarite. Then, when the animal body dies, the soul is taken into the astral plane, it is congratulated on its achievement, and sent home to the morning star. Revelation 2:26 and 28. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him I will give power over the nations, and I will give him the morning star. Where it regains its real identity, family, memory, superhuman powers, freedom, and does not have to suffer being a human anymore. It then lives forever in its real self, with good people, and can travel freely around the universe, if it so wishes, or stay at home. The souls that are locked inside female bodies are closer to Satan than to God, on a spiritual level, because they have not yet learned the spiritual qualities that they need to have in order to be able to qualify to become a man. They are therefore much more easily manipulated and used by Satan, and have been used successfully throughout history to destroy relatively good men, example Adam and Eve, Samson and Delilah, King Arthur, Pendragon, and Queen Guinevere, and the list is endless. 1 Timothy 2:14. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman, being deceived, was in the transgression. Allowing yourself to be manipulated and used by Lucifer, Satan, is what got you sent here. You must learn willpower, not to allow yourself to be manipulated and used by him before you can go home. The more willpower you learn to help you resist his influence, the higher spiritual level you attain. That is why men are on a higher spiritual level and harder for him to use, and women are on a lower spiritual level and easier for him to use. Men are supposed to love God first and women second, keeping women under control and teaching them by setting them a good example as well as by words and advice. 1 Corinthians 11:3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of every woman is the man. The head of Christ is God. 1 Timothy 2:11 and 12. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. That is why God said from the beginning that the woman can never be equal to men until they earn their own right to be a man. Genesis 3:16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and your desire shall be subject to your husband, and he shall rule over you. 1-3. Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ. Now I praise you, brethren, that you remembering in all things and keep the ordinances, as I delivered them to you. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of every woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God.